back to my channel. Luckily for me, there's a disability rec center in my town about 15 to 20 minutes away. During the first week of September, I went to the rec center to see what activities they had to offer. I wheeled in and I spoke to someone at the front desk. She seemed young and she was in a power chair. I would later find out that she is 2 years younger than me and she also has CP. I asked her what activities do they do here. Adaptive sports, mainly the Paralympics and Special Olympics. She had one of the coaches come out and talk to me. When he sat down and started speaking, I thought to myself, wow, he's the quintessential sports coach, whistle and all. I told him I was looking for stuff to do, that I didn't know what I liked. I was open to trying anything. He started listing off some of the sports they do. He asked if any of those sports interest me. I asked him when does swimming start. He told me this Monday. Then we went to his office. His office was a portable or a trailer on the back part of the grounds. Walls were covered from floor to ceiling of photos of all the athletes he's coached over the years. He's been a coach for special needs for over 20 years. Seeing all those photos made me so happy for two reasons. I could totally see that he genuinely cares about every single athlete as if they were his own kid. Second reason, I can be one of these athletes. I had to fill out some registration forms and that's when he told us, what you do here won't cost you a dime. My caregiver and I were surprised to say the least. He fundraises throughout the entire year, so not one athlete has to pay for any of the activities or sports that they participate in. This includes the teams that travel. After signing the forms and getting the activities calendar for the remainder of the year, we parted ways. As I was wheeling out of his office, he asked, do you like soccer? And I tell him, I don't know, never played. Why don't you come here on Saturday? The power soccer team practices in the gym. The rest of September, I went to weekly swimming practice and watched the power soccer team play. Taught me how to swim in 1 hour. I can now gladly say I'm not what I call a wall hugger. I now can swim underwater unassisted. As for power soccer, they use a specialized power chair called a strike force. It has guards attached to the front and back. That way, a player can move a larger than standard soccer ball across the court. I haven't actually played power soccer because a strike force will run you about, $8,000. But I've watched their team play and one of their players plays for Team USA in the Paralympics. It looks so much fun. The chairs run faster than your standard power chair. If you have time, click on the link below because hearing someone describe it is not the same as seeing it. The rec center also does one-time events. These events can either be social or sports related. A lot of the times they do sport clinic. With the sport clinics, sometimes it could be just for one day or it could be for multiple weeks. Athletes can try and see if they like playing a sport or if they've played that sport in the past, they can take the time to perfect their skills. During this particular time, they did a power badminton clinic, and it was my first taste of what the center can really offer. Badminton is a sport that can be played either in singles or doubles, very similar to tennis. You hit what they call a shuttle over a net to your opponent. What the rec center did is they had a coach come out all the way from Colorado who trains Paralympians in the sport of badminton. We spent 4 hours with him, the rec center coaches, and volunteers learning how to play power badminton, and I got to use a sports wheelchair for the very first time. The rec center has some on hand for those who do not own a sports chair of their own. Being one completely changes things. You're faster and you have more agility playing different sports. It really makes a difference in comparison to using a standard manual wheelchair like the one I'm sitting in. After that, I participated in another one-time event. I went adaptive water skiing. At the end of September, multiple organizations met up to go water skiing for the day. 39 people registered to use the adaptive water ski. WAWA sponsored the event. On the Edge, a nonprofit children's organization that improves social interaction to spread acceptance while enjoying various activities, donated all the equipment for the day. The Cypress water ski team donated their time to assist skiers on the water. An adaptive water ski has a seat attached to it that has armrests to hold onto if you choose to. If you're feeling brave, hold onto the rope instead. I wasn't ready for that. A skier is on each side of you holding onto a bar on the back of the seat. This is to keep the ski steady if you do not have the core strength to stay upright. It was so much fun, I did it twice.
1, 2, 3, hit it! There goes Samantha, folks.
I can't wait until later this year to do it again. Maybe this time I'll hold on to the rope. Shortly after that, I went kayaking in an adaptive kayak. The kayak had a seat attached, very similar to the adaptive water ski. If you've ever been in a kayak, then you know that there is some space between you and the kayak itself. Because I tend to lean to the right because of my CP, they took foam blocks and basically shoved it in the empty spaces so I would feel more secure and had a little more assistance on keeping my torso upright. They gave us a 3-minute crash course on how to row, which so wasn't enough time for me. Once I got into the water, I immediately crashed into some foliage. We spent 2 hours on the water that day at the Suncoast Youth Conservation Center. They actually closed the center that day so we would have the area to ourselves. I was in a tandem kayak, or a 2-person kayak. I was in the front steering and the caregiver that was with me for that day was in the back. It was a big group of us from the rec center. There were 4 instructors, 1 in the front, 2 in the middle, 1 in the back, to assist if needed. And the leader was giving us a guided tour of the conservation. It was fun, and I did almost tip the kayak over because again, the CP causes me to lean to the right. And to keep a kayak afloat, you need to keep your torso center. Someone actually did fall in, and luckily it wasn't me. Then I did a 5-week golf clinic. Now, I've always thought golf was really boring, and after doing this, I had to eat my words. I now love golf. Golf coaches and other golfers volunteered their time to teach us how to play, whether we were able to stand or not. I started off playing in my wheelchair. I used a club that they call a driver that was adapted. The driver is shortened in height, that way you can swing while sitting in a wheelchair. However, every week we were being trained by someone else. That made learning technique a little difficult because everyone plays differently. What may work for you may not work for somebody else. At the first practice, I got to meet a coach named Jack, who's been playing and coaching the sport for many years. He told my caregiver that he coaches someone that's blind, and he tells spectators, yeah, my golfer's blind. They don't believe him. All he says to them is just watch. He taught him, with the help of his caddy, how to line up his swings every single time. From an onlooker's point of view, it looks like he's lining it up. He then pulls back and just swings by dropping the club from his shoulder. Needless to say, it amazes people. Well, Jack has the ability to look at someone and know exactly how their stance is supposed to be, their grip, and their line of sight in less than 30 seconds. He did the same for me. Once I knew how to position my body, there was no stopping me. I hit every single ball, some even past the green into the trees, all from a wheelchair. There is nothing more amazing when you hear a golf ball connect with a club. It's the perfect sounding ding. From that moment, I was hooked. I love golf, and being trained by someone different each time wasn't working out. Kayla decided for the last practice that we would go early and snag Coach Jack. That way he can give me another crash course. We did exactly that. Only this time, I did it from an adaptive golf cart. Jack explained the reason why I was having trouble with my swing is because the chair I'm using is too wide and it was messing up my swing. This time, he wanted me to try from an adaptive golf cart. They explained with this type of golf cart, the seat swivels to the side. It then pivots the golfer into a standing position, very similar to a standing wheelchair. I was able to golf standing up. I didn't have to worry about balance, I didn't have to worry about endurance, and I was able to golf for 45 minutes straight. I really enjoyed playing it. Hopefully Jack can still coach me in the future. I'm currently learning archery. There is a learning curve, but it's still fun. Thanks to the rec center, I have done more in 4 months' time than I've done in my entire life. 2019 started off on a rough note, but I worked hard to turn it around. Yes, medically, I am still the same as I was in that first video that I posted, but everything that I've accomplished since then offsets that tenfold. 2020 has even more to offer. I couldn't be more excited, and I hope you are too. For those of you who have stumbled upon my video, thank you for watching. For those of you who have left comments cheering me on or asking me how I'm doing now, thank you. I hope you all continue to watch this journey that I'm on. There's so much more in store for me. I can feel it. Again, thanks for watching.
Oh, yeah. gonna end up on YouTube? This
Maybe.